Okay, welcome back to another programming challenge video. Today we'll be doing the mini-max sum problem from HackerRank. So to describe what's going on here, we're going to be getting an array of integers that are between 1 and 10 to the 9th, and our job is to figure out the minimum value that we can make with 4 elements, any 4 elements, only used once, and the maximum sum that we can make with any 4 elements, each element only used once. So one thing I think I failed to mention was that our array is guaranteed to only have 5 elements in it, and at the end we will be outputting to the console the minimum value and then the maximum value. So there are a lot of ways we could go about solving this. Some of them are more efficient than the others. I've decided that for this video I'm just going to keep it simple, and I'm going to show you a couple of tricks that you can use that you might not know about, because these are sort of things that they don't really show you in school, because they would rather have you do things from the dirt up. You know, they do the most basic things so you can figure out how things work. So you may not know about these tricks. I'm going to show you some of these. I probably wouldn't do this solution if I knew that my constraints were different. If I had a whole bunch of elements, this would probably not be the most efficient solution. But keeping that in mind, we'll proceed. So the basic idea with this one that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to sort the array from least to greatest, and then I'm guaranteed that the first 4 values are going to be the smallest, so I know that adding them is going to give me the smallest possible sum. And then taking the last 4 values will give me the greatest possible sum. So in order to sort this, we're going to take advantage of the array library in C#, which happens to have a handy sort method. So we'll give it array, and that is all we have to do for our array to be sorted. By default, it's by least to greatest, so we're good there. Next, we'll choose to store our minimum sum as a long variable, because our constraints allows our elements to go up to 10 to the 9th, which means, and the problem statement hints at this, that our sum could be greater than a 32-bit integer, which means int is not going to cut it. So we'll go ahead and make this a long. And to sum the first 4 values, there is a handy function that we can use called take. So take needs one parameter, which is the number that you would like to take from the current index that you are at. We're naturally at 0, but we can pretty much just like keep tacking these on and keep going that way. So that's sort of why I said from the index that you're on. So after that, I'm just going to call the link library.sum, and we will pretty much do the same thing with max. However, we want to skip the first element, and for that there's actually a method called skip, and we'll skip the first one. And we could say take 4, but since we know that there's 5 elements in here, we'll just assume that we take the rest and we'll sum from there. Last but not least, we will say console right line, and we'll use our string interpolation operator. If you have never seen that, or if you don't remember from one of my previous videos, go look that up. I really like using it, and it is very handy and very powerful. So go ahead and run this, and this is actually going to have an error in the test cases, I believe, and I'll explain why in a second. Go ahead and make sure. Yeah, so we're failing a lot of these. Why are we failing a lot of these? The reason why we are failing these is because array at this point is still an array of integers. So when we try and sum them, what it's doing is it's basically creating a data type based on the data type of array. So it creates a sum with an integer and then sums them up and then tries to convert this integer to a long, which is fine. But there was already some overflow going on here. So some, like most link methods, can take a lambda. Now, I won't go into too much detail as to how to make these, but more or less I'm going to say for every item in this array, what I want to do is I want to convert it to a long, and that's how I'm going to be summing it. These link functions pretty much all take methods so that you can have control as to how it specifically sums something. And if you leave it blank like we had it a minute ago, then it will behave like I described. It will just kind of make some assumptions about things. So by forcing each item to convert to a long before we sum it, we'll return a long and will not have any sort of truncation or rounding or overflow errors. So that's it for that one. If you have any tips or tricks that you'd like to share with us, please comment below. Have a nice day.